I knew as soon as we went live. Hello, everybody. Welcome to my channel. Today we're doing weird questions. I got Tony from Shining Hawk Healing. We have, is that Goose in the background? All excited? Yeah. Well, I was thinking it was going to be one of the dogs going, or I had just got my window because I was like getting ready for the stream, and the train decides there's like 2 trains coming in at the same time in this town, and they're like, let's be really, really loud. So I figured it was one of us was going to make some kind of noise.
Have you ever seen that movie, My Cousin Vinny?
Oh, I know that one.
They were trying to get some sleep, and he's like, what time does the train come through? And they're like, well, I don't know about the train comes through at 3 a.m.
Oh.
The whole hotel is shaking. Funny.
Oh, hello to everybody. I see we already have 10 that are in the chat right now, and it's great to see you all here. Welcome. We have Candy, we have RW, we have Craig, Sharon. Those are the only comments I'm seeing, but I'm sure there's more of you. All right, and Liz. Hello, Liz. I see you just entered the chat. Adrian might be joining us, might or might not. So if she does, we'll just let her come in the middle of the stream. That'll be totally fine. And if not, that's perfectly okay. I think Johnny is busy today also, so I think it might just be you and me for this one, Tony.
Yay. Yeah, Johnny has a tarot class that he has.
Right, he's been really busy with that.
I know.
Good for him, though.
He's going to pass all that wisdom on to us. I can't wait. Yeah. Hey, Kathleen, Tim.
Oh, yeah, Joe. And we got Joe and Mama Bear. Mama Bear's, I always see her name come up in streams. There's a whole bunch of usernames that I'm like, oh, yeah, I recognize you and you. Yeah. All right, so it is Weird Questions, as we do every month on my channel. Saturday, May 28th. I can't believe we're already going into June. That's insane. Actually, before we begin, is there anything that's special that you're doing on your channel? I know you and I are thinking of doing a collab together.
Yeah, we're gonna do a live stream and open up the chat for questions about pets. We're gonna do animals and see what we can come up with, what we find out about our own pets. If you have questions on that day, which is Tuesday, that's going to be Tuesday, and we'll post it. We're not really sure about what time yet, but we'll post it on Tuesdays. And Tuesday,
yeah, we'll let you guys all know.
This Tuesday. So yeah, and I'll be putting up another prayer video this week, maybe 2, because there's so much going on. So there's a lot of stuff going on. So yeah, maybe two prayer videos next week. So keep an eye out for that as well.
Excellent.
And then we'll be on your channel next. Oh, I'll let you talk.
Yeah, next Friday. Yes, that's right. Because Johnny had to skip his turn. He was busy teaching.
And yesterday was my anniversary, so I was like, I think I'm going to take the day off.
I don't blame you, honestly. Yeah. You guys spent some time together.
Stuff going on with the cards and the website and everything have just been like nonstop. I know you could see my little bags under my eyes.
I wish they could have been designer or something. My bag.
I know, like a little Gucci or Louis Vuitton. That would.
Then your goose is going, no, you look fine. It's fine. Just chill. You look fine.
I know. It's just everything is moving around here.
Oh, it's still retrograde. It's still retrograde, right? Yeah. Okay, that has been, it's been interesting. And I'll just leave it at that.
Well, have you been, I've lost things from my computer, and it's like, how did that happen? You know, I have some things, you know, sitting over here, and I go back to it, and it's gone no matter what I do. It's the electronics really screws around with me in retrograde. So
for me, it was I have a package that was supposed to come last week and still hasn't shown up. And no tracking number. You know, usually the email they send, there's a tracking number. No tracking number.
Oh, goodness.
So I'm like, it might come or it might not come.
Do you have
So
to
we'll see.
call the company now and try to get a tracking number for yourself?
Yeah. Well, I might just get a hold of it. I might head to the post office and give them my ID and say, is there something here with my name on it? Maybe I'm allowed to do that. I don't know. And then like last week tried figuring out like insurance stuff, and there was all these complications because retrograde, and so we had to try it again, and it was finally successful. Adult life is really hard as it is, but then the retrograde just makes it that much more interesting.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
But we can always blame our mistakes on retrograde. When we're in retrograde, we can go, oh, sorry.
Mercury retrograde with her, what did Adrian say with her dollar store panties and her streaky bronzer and her busted ass wig? That's retrograde.
Adrian's retrograde.
Adrian paints a very vivid picture of Mercury retrograde, and I think I'm gonna actually like draw a picture of this and send it to her. I think she'll love it.
Funny. That would be so funny. I want to see that.
Anyways, it is weird questions, like I say, and
good barking sound effects.
They're very realistic.
Very much so.
Very. So the first thing that we're gonna look at on weird questions. This was actually a question Johnny had, and he let us look at it this time, so we didn't get to do that yesterday. So this involves mediumship. Why are names sometimes so hard to pick up on? Like some mediums are really good at it and pick it up right away. And then there are others where it's like, okay, I think it's this, or like this syllable is coming in, or this letter is coming in. Like I was telling this to you before we went live, and I can't, obviously this is like involves a client, so I can't say too much, but the client and I were trying to connect with someone, and I kept getting the completely wrong name. I didn't even know what the proper name was until the end of the session. I kept getting the complete wrong name. I'm like, who the hell is Laverne? And my client's like, I have no idea. I don't know who Laverne is. So we were trying to figure it out. No. The actual name was somewhat close, but not quite. So why are names sometimes so hard for mediums to pick up on? Is it the medium, or is it the person in spirit, or is it both?
Maybe the message that you're getting sort of has the sound, like a K sound or an L sound or whatever like that. I don't know. I don't know. Let's find out.
I know. Isn't that so weird?
Does
it vary?
Could you hear me when I was saying that? The K sound or the L sound? Did you hear that? Okay. Okay, so my mute isn't working. Retrograde. Right. Wait a minute, let me check it out. Could you still hear the barking? Okay.
I don't hear it now.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
You can?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's not working. Okay.
Oh, that's weird. So we're going to just embrace the dogs barking and the trains, because that's the big thing in my town. There's a train every friggin' half hour.
Oh my gosh.
We're just going to embrace the background noise, and it's going to be fine.
Okay.
So names. Why are names so hard for mediums to pick up on sometimes? Oh, I didn't even think of this.
Wow. Huh.
What do you have?
I have like because it's universal energy, but there's something that we lose in translation, because I would say there's static. There's static. You may not be able to hear the soul who is coming through, but their intention is to communicate.
Mhm.
It's just not, I mean, and these are your angels and your guides, but it's just not, uh, it's not something that they can grab hold to really easily. They need a little bit more help from you.
Right. That makes sense. That kind of makes me think of like maybe the broadcast tower and everything is working great, but it's just not coming in clear on your individual TV or whatever.
Yeah, it's
Is
like
that is
you
that what
have
that
too
kind
much
of is saying?
static there's too much static that maybe you're hearing that's sort of garbling up. There was this movie once where this woman was listening to a ham radio and her father's voice from the past came through, and it was very unlikely, but but it could happen.
It
But
could.
sometimes there was so much static between, in that interaction that she couldn't pick up what he was saying. So it just rings true for me that that's what it is. What did you get?
I got something slightly different, and I think it's because there's more than one reason for this.
Hmm.
So, another reason that sometimes mediums have trouble picking up names is because the person in spirit has evolved past the need for a name. They've kind of abandoned that notion where it's like, no, I just am, because I keep hearing I am, I am, I am. Now to other people, like, okay, I am Sienna. That's how you recognize me. That's how but to me, it's just like, oh, I am. I'm just me. So I think it's kind of like that on the other side too, where they're like, well, we don't, like, maybe they've detached from that identity that they've had. And some, hang on to it a little bit longer than others over there. But maybe some have just kind of decided to embrace the spiritual nature and be like, nope, that was all a costume. That was a character. I'm not that. So that's another reason why sometimes names are hard to pick up, because whoever it is in spirit doesn't really want to go by a label or a name. They just
Mm.
are.
If only we could do that.
Yeah. I wonder if maybe they just recognize each other, like energy signatures or something like that. There's got to be some, I don't know. But apparently they don't really need names over there. I don't know. Maybe they have them because they want to.
How do they identify themselves? Well, everybody, you can't be, how is it identifiable when you are part of the whole?
The whole.
It's like you just sort of back into the whole soup of it all. And could it be numbers? Could it be like vibration? Could it be like,
I
I
wonder if
don't
it's
know.
like vibration, or I don't know either. Because I don't know. Spirit wants to show me tomato soup. I don't know why. But it's like one drop in the tomato soup sees another drop in the soup and goes, oh, we're tomato soup. Not like I'm a drop and you're a different drop.
Yeah,
Like,
right.
we're soup.
Right. So that would make sense that nobody has a name. No Tony and no Sienna. It's just, I don't know.
I guess it's like that's the name that we have that our character in this incarnation has. I don't know. Because I keep getting something, but like they don't want labels.
Right. If you get too much into the mix of it all, then you go, well, how do you differentiate like where you were in this past life? And you've had so many names. So do all those names come with you? Do
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Or is it like the higher self sits there with her in front of her filing cabinet and goes, okay, wait a minute. Let's open this up. You're trying to get in contact with Sienna, right? Okay. So let's see. Let's go back. Oh, yeah, I remember her. Let's pull her file and give the reading as a,
And your name was, when you knew her, your name was.
Yeah.
Tony.
And Kathleen in the chat makes up a really good point. She says names could be hard because we've had many.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they could be like, well, which one? I think a lot of people on the other side assume which one their loved one is trying to talk to. But maybe others, it's like, I don't have a name. I don't need a name. Why are
You
you
got
asking? Why are you so
you got an
concerned?
old woman with glasses sitting behind a desk going, "May I help you?" And you're like,
Like the slug lady from Monsters Inc. Roz. That's very nice.
yes. Joe Schmo says an angel was taking a lunch break, sitting at the antenna eating a sandwich. That's the woman
That
behind the
explains the
desk.
static.
Could you move the antenna over just a little bit so we can get a clearer sound? Yeah.
Just scoot your bum 2 inches to the left. Okay, perfect.
Don't let go
You
of
dropped some
the
mustard on the transmitter.
When I was a kid, we still had those antenna that you put on top of the TV and you had to go like rabbit ears and
Rabbit
you had
ears.
to go and adjust them. And if you couldn't get, if you touched it and it was the only way to get a clear picture, guess who was standing there throughout the whole show?
Guess who got to stand right 2 feet from the TV? That's funny.
We can't say we're not conductors because we are.
Maybe they got to put a little bit of tin foil on the ends or something.
And on the little hat. Make a little hat. It's good to laugh. This last week was really sort of crazy bum. So it's good to just laugh about
it's good to have some time to just be silly and forget that there are horrible things happening everywhere.
Yeah.
Now our next thing kind of has to do with mediumship. Kind of not, I don't know. The last Salem witch, Elizabeth Johnson Jr., has recently been pardoned after like 329 or 330 years since her conviction of you're a witch. So from the other side, how does she feel about that being pardoned 300 years later? Or does her soul even care? Because that might have been lifetimes ago for her. We don't know how many lifetimes she's had in our time, 300 years, right?
300 years. Don't witches tend to last a little longer than that?
You think so?
Let's see what the cards say. The question was, does she care that her name?
Does she care? Does her soul really? And if so, what does she think about being pardoned? About Elizabeth being pardoned?
Strength. She was a strong woman.
I think he had to be.
Had a strong heart. Oh. She was very smart. I think that this is really bringing her into balance. You know, it's bringing her essence, her soul back into balance because she doesn't have that weighing on her. Not that it really matters because the things of man don't really have an effect on the things of spirit unless you can't, energy is never dies. It's only changes form. So wisdom, patience. She's waited a long time for this.
But it seems like she does care. Her soul cares about that.
Yeah, I think she does. It matters. The communication of her being found innocent of what? Of being herself. That matters to her. It really, really does. So that was the wisdom is, it's never too late to say, I'm sorry. So, and now she feels this. She's walking in the beauty of being the person that she's always meant to be.
Kathleen in the chat says she was hearing from Spirit day late and $1 short. Which, yeah, you know what? I also got that. I think she does care. It's not necessarily, I think what she cares about is like, she was validated. And there's something about, I totally agree with that, like her being validated and all that. Something was balanced karmically, like big. And I think that I think her experience as Elizabeth and the wrongful conviction and the you're a witch and that punishment of just trying to be a divine feminine self, that did kind of have an impact on like her other incarnations. I don't know how many she's had since, but there was confusion in how she was going to go about her next incarnations. Well, how do I work around this? How do I get through this? And then she had actually come to accept, okay, whatever, it doesn't matter. Because she kind of expected people on Earth to completely forget. If this is never made right, whatever, I'm going to keep moving forward. I'm not going to waste my time on it. But I think she does like, because there's harmony. There's harmony now. She does like that she's been pardoned posthumously. Like, that's good. It's almost like it ties up a loose end that she didn't realize could be tied up. She just kind of thought, well, that's part of that incarnation story, and I guess that's how it is. She had to accept it, and now all of a sudden it's like, oh, it's balanced.
So Gary says she never was a witch. She just was smart, strong, educated woman. I agree. I got that in the cards. Yeah. She was smart.
A lot of the women that they imprisoned and killed, they were just being regular, smart, strong, confident women.
And that wasn't intimidating to the men back then at all.
Well, and you know what I got is she notices that this world is still run by men. And she does see it as kind of a small victory. She's like, for whoever this might help, it's kind of a small victory.
I wonder who was fighting for her to be, exonerated.
I can't remember, but I know it was a group of students. I think they were studying her, or they were studying. I can't remember. I'm going to have to go back and look through the articles that I was reading. But they wanted to, I guess maybe it was a project or something, and then somebody along the line like took it seriously. I'm not really sure. I'm going to have to look that up.
That's cool that they did that. That's really cool. I love that.
Oh, yeah.
It was a very primitive time. Sort of like now, because we've gone a little back. We've taken a few steps back.
Michelle in the chat is saying that for Elizabeth, this decision has helped her with soul retrieval. Actually, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
As they tried to take her soul as well. That makes sense.
That really does make sense.
Because, maybe she had to accept, maybe she just thought she never would get that piece of her back. Maybe she just thought that's just the way it is. Move on, move forward. Yeah,
Cheryl got beautiful, intelligent, talented, caring, and healthy. And, a lot of women were that. I mean, if she was truly, one of the women that women went to, even men would go to witches, back then for spells, for cures, for whatever. And these women were so amazing at what they did.
Wise.
Yeah, so wise. And they listened to, Mother Earth. They paid, they honored the spirit of the planet, and they lived in tune with the rhythm of what we do here on the planet. And for that, they got burned at the stake. So,
I can't, but I guess that like wisdom and that maybe being like so in touch with who you are or whatever, that was probably very intimidating to a lot of the men in charge, because that went against what they were comfortable with and with the structure they'd grown up with and what they'd been taught. Especially, no, you're the man, you're the smart one, you're the leader. The women just look after your babies or whatever.
Yeah, and
didn't
the
like when
clergy
the
was
women did their own thing.
probably the men of God. They were the ones who were uh, mm, so welcoming and so so, so
And
patient.
some of it too, I think they were just so afraid of what they didn't understand. Because maybe some of these women, maybe they were in touch with some kind of divine. But then again, that would mean like all of us were kind of witches because we all have that divine connection and we all have different ways that we use it.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe some of the more like religious ones, they're like, oh, that doesn't go against what I learned. So that's very uncomfortable for me. And so it must be evil. You must be hanged. Maybe they weren't like quite like that about it, but I don't know.
You're evil. Oh, wow. I know they used to pile like boulders on top of people to see if they survived them, then they were witches, or they pull them apart,
Yeah. Or
limb by limb.
if she drowned, you dunk her. If she drowned, whoops, she wasn't a witch. And then if she somehow does not drown or somehow survives, she's a witch. We got to do something else to kill her.
And you drown her again. They pour more rocks on top of you.
Yeah.
We are just violent people. That's
People
who we
are kind of a violent species.
Yeah.
And like we give other animals, we sort of like judge them like, oh, they're just brutal with each other. But it's like, no, people are like that too. We use technology now with our brutality.
Yeah. And we're sneaky about it. I
We have
mean, a
weapons.
lion will sneak up on you, but once he's there, it's no
Oh, yeah.
mistaking it.
The lion doesn't pretend to be your friend.
No.
When it eats you. No.
Oh my God.
So that's really interesting though, because I actually didn't expect her soul to really care at all. I thought she would have just
Me
been like,
too.
yeah, whatever, no big deal. That's just
We've
another
moved on. It's
thing.
happened so long ago.
Right? And so it's really interesting that she still like she noticed that her Elizabeth character had been pardoned, and I guess that's good though. It seems to have brought her a lot of peace and balance. It's nice to know that some big karma has been balanced, and maybe it will help her plan her future lifetimes. Maybe she won't be so like hesitant going in. I felt like a strong hesitancy, like she didn't want to do that again.
Yeah. Yeah. Especially if she would be able to come back with some of her tendencies toward the supernatural or the occult or the whatever. If she knew she was coming back with that kind of, energy, it would be, I would be a little hesitant to jump back on the ship and go.
Oh yeah. Oh, so Patricia in the chat is coming through saving the day with information. She says a group of 8th grade civic students took up her cause and researched how to clear her name.
Oh.
And then somebody must have gone from there and
that's so nice.
But that's so nice.
Oh. There are good people in the world.
Yeah, that is nice. And I guess maybe to Elizabeth, like to her soul or whatever, maybe it feels good knowing like, oh, I wasn't forgotten. I don't know. Maybe on the other side they don't care, but maybe they don't mind being remembered a little bit, I'm not sure how that is over there. How they feel about that. Yeah, okay. I knew it was a group of students, but thank you, Patricia, for that extra.
Thank you, Patricia.
Info. It's a really, really interesting story. So I really recommend you guys read up about it, about Elizabeth Johnson Jr. being pardoned. We are gonna move. This gets into weird territory. Okay, hence the weird question. But this is something that I wondered. Some people. No, actually, first we're gonna start with some context. Moses and the story of the burning bush. Okay. Now, some people think that Moses had ingested some kind of psychedelic substance or plant.
Ayahuasca.
Yeah, something like that. And that caused like the hallucination of the bush burning and the seeing God. And I'm not saying that seeing God is a hallucination, but because sometimes psychedelic experiences can actually open somebody up that much that maybe they do. But I want to know, Was Moses just tripping balls? Is that what happened? Is that, or was the burning bush, was that just a symbol of something and not just something Moses was seeing because of the ayahuasca or the DMT or whatever? What the heck was that burning bush thing all about?
He was tripping balls. He went out into the woods. He started eating berries that he should not have been eating.
Eating plants that were a little bit
a little suspect.
That's a little funny with them.
He was lucky he didn't die, but he may have wanted to after he was tripping all that time watching bushes burn. Wow. Yeah.
Something.
So he went up to the mountains. He went into the mountains to get clarity because his people, they were down, they were just partying and dealing with the idols and all the gold and all the silver and dancing like heathens. Getting all ratchet.
Getting into the fermented wine.
And then he comes down and he kills the party. He's like,
okay, melt down all your shit into the pot or whatever he did.
I've got 11. No, 10. Because I just Mel Brooks, he drops one. 11, 10. Okay.
I can't remember if the burning bush came before or after the commandments. Does it matter?
I don't know.
Maybe it doesn't matter. Oh, I like that card.
He was tripping. He was celebrating.
I get the trip, yeah.
It was his communication with the burning bush was a direct connection to his tripping balls. It's the burning bush, right?
It was probably just a regular bush. Exactly. Anyone walking by would have seen this old man talking to a bush.
Dude, don't eat those.
Don't eat that plant over there. Or maybe do eat it. I can't be the only one over here.
But this is him. He went on a vision quest, right? Mm-hmm. He went on a vision quest so that he can communicate with, the gods or his God. And he came upon.
That makes sense. That third eye would be wide open.
Right. So he was afeared of all of the darkness that was going on around him. So he took, I don't think he did it on purpose. I think he did it because he was hungry. And so then he started talking and it just like, he was like, oh, okay. Get your pen out, start writing. Okay.
Nope.
Oh gosh. So that's what I got.
I got a very similar thing. I even have this Ace of Wands as a plant. I got that word plant-based. It was plant-based. Yeah, there were definitely some like hallucinations. And like we were saying earlier, just because somebody is like in a state like that open, so I guess scientifically we'd call it hallucinations. The experience could be very, very real. Yes. But to anybody just walking by, it really would have been this old man. I, for some reason, see him as this old man barefoot, sitting in the dirt across from this bush. Some people wonder if it was maybe like an acacia bush or something like that. Just, I don't know, just great time. And I'm seeing what was happening spiritually. The third eye and the crown were blown wide open, and there is just a constant stream of light coming in.
That card that you had, the 7 of
Yeah,
Cups right there,
yeah,
that all of that like that whiteness behind it, the clouds and everything,
yeah.
I think that's how he felt like, oh my gosh, what's going on? Yeah, yeah, yeah.
This was a hugely transformative experience. And who in the chat, I think it was Craig in the chat, said that the burning bush thing happened actually well before the commandment and
Oh,
stuff.
okay.
That this was like, this changed the course of his life, basically. That this experience, he was shown a lot of the darkness. You know, that I think he was already aware of the darkness in
Yeah.
humanity and the stuff that that his people were doing that he wasn't fond of or whatever. But he was also shown that darkness inside of himself. That there's something about like in condemning others, that he was condemning his own self, and that maybe like his way of viewing others, he didn't maybe realize until the bush or whatever, that it was kind of, people are sort of mirroring what's going on within yourself. I think he kind of became aware of that. The way that it's told in the Bible is not particularly accurate. Where, you know, I don't know if it's supposed to be like God like lit this bush on fire or what, or like the spirit of God went into the bush and it went up into flames. I'm not really sure.
Oh, do you think it was like a storm? Did he have to like weather do you think he weathered the storm?
No.
Had to go into, if he went into a cave and started just breathing in fumes.
You never know, because I don't know if that happened in a cave or outside or what.
Because yeah, if lightning hit the bush, then probably caught on fire. And
yeah, but if you're already tripping balls, you're like, oh my God.
Kathleen, I've always felt Moses was having a huge lucid dream and was shown some rules to live by, but who knows just what it felt like. Damn Catholic school education. Yes.
Who knows? But it was some kind of a trip. Or I like how you use the word journey, because like, well, your work as a shaman, you do a lot of journeying and stuff too. Mm-hmm. Like it could have, you know, and you're probably able to do it without the use of psychedelics, but maybe Moses went through that with the help of a special plant.
Depends on what kind of journey you're going on. But yeah, some of them you don't have to have drugs to journey, but you know, sometimes, you know, people go on ceremony with plant medicine to get clarity. So
people do the ayahuasca ceremonies, I guess.
Yeah. So those are interesting.
Did you see any burning bushes?
Nope.
But you know what? That's really fascinating, though, because like the Bible is full of crazy stuff, crazy stories.
So crazy.
That you'd think, like, if all of this were literal and true, like, when did God stop doing all this weird stuff?
And why is it happening now?
Maybe God's always been doing weird stuff, but we just don't, like, I don't know. Then again, people really, I guess our ego cells really like grandeur and big, obvious things.
Mm-hmm.
But I really do think from what we have here, Moses was tripping on something, and he went on quite an interesting journey, like a huge, like spiritual awakening sort of journey.
Yeah.
And I suppose if he really, you know, was meant to help, like, get everybody to the promised land or whatever, like, maybe that was the kick in the butt he needed. Maybe that was, like, the motivation he needed.
Yeah. Because the people at that point weren't listening. Well, you know, maybe they were listening, but they were waiting for something specific. And then he came down and said, this burning bush. And they were like, we thought you were going to sell us something. And you were talking about a friggin' bush. What? Okay, next. Who's up next? Can we get in the driver's seat over here? Oh gosh.
So next, this has nothing to do with psychedelics and burning bushes. or bushes that may or may not be on fire. I've actually had a lot of people in the past ask me about this and leave these kind of questions for like weird questions, but I just never really knew much about it or how to address it or whatever. I keep getting questions about shadow people and shadow beings.
Mm-hmm.
And the questions basically all sum up to like, what are they? And why do so many people seem to see them?
It's like I don't know, you guys in the chat can sort of just tell what you think it is, but sometimes, I give the example of when you see something move in your peripheral, right? You see something move and then you turn and there's nothing there. So that could have been, a shadow. Of course, it could have been somebody else's shadow who's in the room with you. But most likely it was like, if it's something that really sort of catches your eye and makes you feel like somebody's there, then it's possible that that's what it is. So I don't think shadow people are easily seen unless you go on specific quest for that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. I kind of get the feeling that they will come to you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And Kathleen in the chat saying she's always seen them. And actually there are a lot of other viewers have said that even like when they were kids, they used to see them and stuff like that. When my sister was little, I guess she used to think that her shadow was another like living being. And she used to think her shadow was like kind of its own person. I don't know. I don't think that's the same. That might not be the same energy, but I just thought that was really cute. And Kathleen's talking about shadow dogs too. So I guess there are lots of maybe shadow beings, creatures of some kind.
I'm just going to pull a few of these just to see.
I have really weird cards that came up. So
shadow people. Mm-hmm. Okay. They have a very
even more people in the chat are saying that they've seen them.
Oh.
And they've been caught on camera. Interesting.
Yeah, it's very interesting because it's it's on purpose. They're showing themselves to you on purpose for a reason. So if it scares you in any way, just put up a circle of protection and only those of the highest light can enter. No one else. Okay. So if you're scared or you're worried about these shadow people, just, know that your circle of protection, you have power to keep them out and away. And if you say, I don't want that, I don't want you here, they have to leave. So that's the name of that tune.
That's important to know, though. A lot of people do have that fear. Like, well, I want to connect more spiritually, but I'm scared that I'll see all these beings and stuff. It's like, you don't actually have to be
it's just about your awareness of them. You're aware and they want you to be aware. They're doing it on purpose so that you can see them. They may be connected to someone that you know or something that you know, an animal that you know or whatever, or someone from a previous life or something from a previous life that wants to sort of be around you. So I would say that, now that you're aware of them, you know that they're contacting you on purpose. So now you have the clarity to know what it is that you need to do. If they're scaring you, just, make that that declarative statement. I don't want you here. You must leave right now, because it's all about your communication and how you communicate with this mysterious being. So be wise. Don't allow them to just overpower you. Take your power and use it and they can't hurt you necessarily. They can just be, a nuisance. So keep that in mind.
Yeah, you know what? I have that. There are different reasons why they'll show up. It just depends on the being. It takes an incredible amount of energy for them to manifest.
Mm-hmm.
It takes them a lot of energy. So they are very, I agree with you, I agree with Tony, that they're very intentional.
Mm-hmm.
That you see them because they are giving you that opportunity. They're offering themselves up. Sometimes, now I'm just getting one reason that they come in. There's lots and lots. Sometimes they need a little bit of help. They might feel like, now I also have the Death and the Hermit, where they might have found themselves in maybe like a lower astral plane, not necessarily hell or anything, but just a lower astral plane. Maybe they feel kind of lonely, or they're like, okay, this is fine, but I feel like I need to move forward, and they might not know how. Some still have really strong connection to Earth. They felt like they're very established on Earth or something, and so they want to make that point to come and manifest so that somebody could see them, and maybe the one reason is that maybe the person who saw them might be able to help them. It doesn't mean that, that it's like, oh, you can see me, that's why I'm coming to you. Like, oh, I see that you're open, you have your third eye open, I'm going to come to you. It doesn't mean that you have the obligation to help them. Like you were saying, Tony, like absolutely put up the boundary if you want to, like if you're afraid, if you just don't want to be pestered by them. Maybe you see them like way too often and it's really disruptive. Yeah, put the boundary up. You don't have the obligation to help them, but they are coming to you because they need sometimes they need some kind of help. And if you put up a boundary, it's okay. They'll go to someone else.
Yeah, because they're drawn to your light. They're drawn to that light because they're shadow, and they're just really either want to be in the presence of light, or they want to have, like Sienna was saying, have help in some way from your light. So if you don't want to help with your light, then you tell them to go away.
Somebody else will. And like you'd think, well, why don't they just go like, God help me cross over or whatever? They might not realize that they can do that. They might not realize that they can call on someone spiritually to help, or they might not feel like they're good enough. It depends on what, kind of mental state and whatever they were in when they went over.
Mm-hmm.
Some people go their whole lives feeling like they're not good enough for help, or like help from the divine. So maybe they feel more comfortable going to a living person for that kind of help.
Mm-hmm.
They're
And
on a journey
you
of
can always say, who is saying, I know they need help, but how? You can always just address them and say, go in peace, peace be with you, go in peace, peace be with you, go in peace, peace be with you. And maybe that will help them, cross over. Maybe no one's ever given them that,
that validation.
That validation that they're actually there yet. So, I usually do this because it's sort of like a cuts their energy off from me. I say, go in peace, peace be with you, go in peace, peace be with you, go in peace, peace be with you. So you just cut all the cords that might be attached to you from them, because anything, that energy that swirls around you, can attach little cords to you. So you want to cut those cords.
Cheryl makes a good point in the chat too, of course. Don't confuse a retina problem with a shadow healing. Always get your eyes checked. Okay, but like maybe you've gotten your eyes checked and everything has looked good and you're still seeing them. Like there could be something more to it.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely, make sure it's not just your eyes.
Where's my glasses?
Yeah. And I was gonna say, Tony, it's really interesting that you do like, this for like disconnecting. My Reiki teacher taught me to karate chop.
Oh, okay.
And chop, because it's like all done.
Yeah,
but I love that there's different ways you can do it.
Yeah. Yeah. That's how I was taught, go in peace with, because it just sort of all of it
encompasses all of it. You're acknowledging all of it.
Yeah. Don't confuse a retina problem.
That's good advice to get your eyes
Yeah,
checked. That is
totally.
really good advice.
Totally.
Because I don't know if like retina problems, if that causes physical pain or if people don't feel anything, if there's an issue there. I have no idea. So
Hmm.
like maybe for some people with eye problems, it could be a little bit confusing. I have no idea how that works, but get your eyes checked
Maybe do both. Get your eyes checked and do the do the cutting.
and do the spiritual thing too.
Care
Yeah.
of it all.
Yep. And then our last question for today, also a spiritual one. We're going into the Akashic Records this time. And what I've had a few people ask, and this is something I don't know very much about myself. So if there already is an answer to this, then cool. But who is the librarian or the curator of the Akashic Records? Is there one? Is there more than one? Who maintains the Akashic Records? Like, I feel like I don't know. I keep being reminded of Star Wars, and they have the Jedi archives, and they have like a really old Master Jedi who oversees all of it. She's like the librarian. I wonder if the Akashic Records is like that too.
She's got glasses. She's like, what do you want?
Yeah, she's like Roz. I'm watching you. Always watching you. So, who maintains the Akashic Records? Whose responsibility is that on the other side? Do we know like a little bit about that? There's like a collective, like a community library or something that everyone looks after. I don't know.
It's a mystery. Well, when I'm doing the tarot, I always feel like the high priestess is the librarian for the Akashic records, but wouldn't that be awesome?
That's a great job.
Just stay up there all day.
Air condition, maybe.
It's all glass and all the shelves don't get dusty because
It's all energy anyway. And you don't have to, yeah. And you wouldn't have to like go through our libraries have the decimal system and all the numbers and the letters and this last name, this goes here in this genre. Liz, thank you for the super chat. I really appreciate it. That helps a lot. But yeah, like over there with the Akashic Records, like, what do the records even look like? I don't know. Is it just light? I have no idea.
You know what I envision? I envision it's like crystal, right? Everything is crystallized, and you go and you like hold your hand over something, and a little crystal comes out, and it just projects the whole life span of the person. I don't know. That's in my imagination, but
I like that though. I like that. Or like you maybe Catherine, thank you for the super chat. That is so helpful. That makes a huge difference for me. It really does. This helps me pay my bills and stuff, so I really appreciate it. I'm gonna
Catherine. Oh, she's gonna cry, Catherine. Thank you so much. So I think we're all really curious. This is what happens to our soul, and how do we store that information? How is that information stored by source? And we all feel as if there's this library in the universe that holds all of this information for all of our whole life, the light life, the shadow life, all of it. It has all of that information, what your purpose was on this planet. It holds that as well. And your new beginnings, all of the new beginnings, everything that you have been in every lifetime, it comes up. Yes, there's that. And then there's a person or a being or a collective that has a lot of, quiet patience to collect all of that information and protect it and make sure that it never falls out of, balance, because the transformation is so important to be able to go back and sort of examine what has happened in the past. If you are able, if you have a medium, if you know someone who can connect you with past lives, that, oh, maybe those are the people who, I don't know.
Ooh.
So they clear everything out and they keep it. Again, they protect it and make sure that everything is clear and concise, and so that you can follow your dreams in the future, your new dreams. That's so nice.
I like that.
Sacred space. It's called the library. I don't know why it's tickling me. It just is.
That's so
It's
funny.
the library. I love libraries. I am a book person. I love books. I love the library. And I've always felt like that is, even though, people are burning books these days, I just feel like that is sort of a sacred space for me, the library.
Marby and Cheryl, thank you for the super chats. I really appreciate it. That helps a lot. Yeah, you know what? I get, like, there might be multiple keepers. And I get that in a way we are sort of the keepers, because what we do, or are we kind of the keepers, or are we like, I guess we're contributors and keepers, maybe, because what we do does get recorded over there. And what we've done in other lifetimes, what we've done in this lifetime, I think even things that we could have done but didn't do, that's recorded also. Our different options that we had, there's a record of that. And what we chose, and what the consequences were, good or bad, whatever. People have a really, really basic understanding of how this works. So one way we can think of it is with the library analogy. That's comfortable for us. They're saying that's like what is it? Like a microscopic, like a fraction of what the Akashic record can hold. And like some of the libraries in our world, we have some really big, beautiful ones out there. And I just am amazed. That's like a fraction of what the Akashic record can hold. But yeah, there are beings whose job it is to help. Okay, so what I'm getting is to help, like, record the information, and to help other people to retrieve the information. So they do act a lot like librarians. Or what is the other thing? There's another job in the library. It's library, and then there's another one. I can't remember. It doesn't really matter. But there are beings whose job it is. I think there are multiple beings, and we are the creator, or the contributors and the curators at the same time. And they're saying this information's always there for us to pull from whenever we need it or want
it. Sorry.
It's totally fine. We're embracing the dogs. I love them. They're very sweet. Aw. So yeah, we can pull from that information at any time, and it seems like there are keepers that help us to get the information. They help psychic tune in and pull that info to help us when we get past life readings and stuff done.
Can you still hear me?
Yeah.
Ugh. I tried to mute my computer. I couldn't do it. Sorry.
Oh, retrograde. It's totally fine. Okay. But yeah, we can just pull from that info anytime, and there are beings, like I was saying a second ago, that help to record the info. They help us to pull the info. They help us to maybe understand the info. Some of the information, now I'm getting some of the raw information might be too much for us. So what they do is they kind of filter it, or they adapt it in a way, or like they translate it. That's what it is. They translate it in a way that we will understand. And that is what I have. I want
And
to
then
learn
that's
more about the Akashic records and stuff. So
yeah.
that's fascinating stuff.
And do you think that the mediums are the ones who dispense the information? It's like if you go to a medium, then it's like having a library card, going in
I
and
wonder.
having them pull the information out for you.
Yeah,
That
I
would be
kind of
awesome.
wonder. Hmm.
Interlibrary loan department. Oh, I like that.
Hmm.
Hologram, our guides and higher self have access and our keeper as well. I like that too.
I like that too. I mean, that would make sense actually, because
Yeah.
for guides that are assigned to us, it's like, well, okay, we'll learn what we can from watching her, but let's go through her file and like, let's say like Tony's guide, like, let's go through Tony's file and we're gonna take a look at her past lives and we're gonna see the common thread from the past lives into her current life that we're helping her with. Okay, let's see if there's any information we can get that will help her in this one. Like,
Yeah, yeah. Cheryl says it might be like Santa's good or bad list. Yeah, probably.
maybe, yeah.
I like that.
People who might cross over quite easily and people who might need a little bit of extra help maybe is another thing, or I don't know. But I think that would help a lot with like soul soul fragmentation. What is it? Soul retrieval? Yes. Because the Akashic records, it shows you everywhere your soul has been.
Mm-hmm.
And so if a piece of you or whatever like feels like it's been broken off somewhere, the Akashic records you'll be able to find out where and when and
Where, yeah.
what
Yeah.
happened or whatever.
Yeah. I mean, well, you go to the library to figure out how to figure stuff out. So that's great. Dreams may be the access too.
I was
Yeah.
just gonna say that. Joe makes a really good point. Because, you know, in our dreams at night, it's not just our brain trying to make sense of what all went on during the day. Sometimes that's the only time someone is quiet enough and without distractions long enough to have an experience that they need to have spiritually.
Mm-hmm.
You never know.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not a big dreamer. I mean, I know that everybody dreams, but it's hard for me sometimes to remember my dreams. So when I wake up in the morning, if I've had I told you I had a dream that I had a baby elephant.
Yes. Oh, that's so cute. That's funny.
That was a really vivid dream. The elephant was so adorable and he was playing with the dogs and just rolling around on the floor. And oh my God, that was a great dream. But
I wonder what that means. I wonder what elephant symbolism.
Yeah.
And I guess dream symbolism, it probably varies from person to person, but I wonder what that dream meant for you.
Hmm.
And I was telling you, your dream reminded me of those old Canadian PSAs about don't believe everything you see on TV. And the one that they used was the North American house hippo. Some people in the chat will remember that one.
That was funny. That was a funny commercial.
It was really cute. And when I was little, I thought it was real. And I asked my mom if we could have a house hippo. And she said, no, that wasn't real.
No, dear, it's not real.
And she's like, why would we need a house hippo? We already have cats.
I know, and they're stubborn enough. They don't really.
They probably eat as much as your average. Well, we know how much a regular hippo eats, so a house hippo.
Oh my gosh.
Probably still a lot.
Really teeny, teeny, tiny. They were so small. Is that my mom died once? What? Oh, my mom almost died.
Oh, that had me confused. There was a big book. And it was closing,
wow.
and then it stopped and started. Oh,
that's some imagery. Wow. I
almost
love
like
that.
it could have ended there, but it didn't.
But it didn't. Oh, we were almost finished reading the book, but no.
No, not quite.
Oh, so
Just kidding.
nice.
You still have a few chapters left.
The last page is for you, Sam. Lord of the Rings.
Oh, yes.
Oh, God, what an epic amount of storytelling. And I have no idea what was going on.
No, I don't either, but I just very good stories. So good.
It was really a good movie. I just like, I just don't know why all these monsters have to be on the planet. I don't
I want
know.
to live in the Shire. It would be so nice
Shire
there.
was so cute.
And
Yeah.
so pretty, and it's so nice. And apparently it's in New Zealand.
I ran into a house near Beverly Hills that had a round door like that. The
Really?
round door that what's his name had in the
Oh,
Shire.
like Bilbo's house.
Yeah, Bilbo Baggins. And they had a round door. I was like, oh, I want this house.
Was it built into the side of a hill?
No,
Oh,
unfortunately not. It was kind of on a busy street.
but that's a very interesting choice.
Mhm.
But I guess why not?
It was cute. It was
Mhm.
cute. Thank you so much for having me.
Yes, thank you for being here. We had a lot of fun today. This was just a nice, chill, weird questions stream weekend. I don't know. It was a good time. We just, with all the stuff happening in the world, it is nice to just take a break for a little while and just look at some silly things. Because, there is a lot of horror in the world, but there's also a lot of humor and a lot of strange oddities. Sometimes it's nice to just take a look at that.
Yeah.
Oh, Patricia in the chat is saying that elephants in dream symbolism can represent a powerful person, but susceptible to emotions. Interesting. Interesting.
Well, that's me. I'm susceptible to all the emotions. I have them all.
Empath. Oh, and you pick up other people's emotions too, I imagine.
Yes, like a sponge. And sometimes I have to sort of back away from certain people because they're just, draining. So it's for people who are empaths, it's especially now with retrograde and everything, it's like it's painful, kind of bodily painful at
It's
times.
exhausting.
Yeah, and this last week with all the energy that was flowing around, it was really hard to sort of not only concentrate, but just sort of get motivated to do anything because you feel all of that. You feel that it's like a wave and it really sort of washes over you and you're like, I just want to get in the bed and cover my head and not think about what's going on right now. So, but there's no way to do that.
No, we just have to find our moments. That's why we do these streams.
Here we are.
So thank you, Tony, for joining me. This has been awesome. Thank you to everybody else for joining. Now, if you're not already subscribed to Tony, Shining Hawk Healing, go to her channel, hit subscribe, hit the bell icon because you'll get notifications anytime that she posts or goes live or anything like that. And so you don't want to miss anything. Obviously, you're probably already subscribed to me if you're watching. So thanks for subscribing. Thanks for being here. All right.
Thumbs up.
And the thumbs up. Yeah, that's important. That helps a lot, actually. Okay. Thanks so much, everybody. Have a great weekend. And, everyone, we're just doing the best we can. Continue doing your best. It's going to be okay. We're getting through it. This is life. We're getting through it. It's okay.
I was going to say hang tight, but I love you guys too.
Love you. Spider-Man. I don't know. Okay. Okay. Bye, everyone.